Your student money may vanish by Wednesday, but the real problem may start before your first swipe. 2 students can spend the same week on campus, and only one ends the week with cash coming back. What did one student set up before the week started that the other only noticed too late? If you are new here, I'm Ekow, ex-investment banker turned property investor. I break down real money systems that help you earn, keep, and grow your money without falling for fake shortcuts. Some classmates are getting paid because Brand noticed them before other students even start looking for work. Not because they have a powerful CV, not because they know some secret website. They are already in the right campus spaces before the money conversation even starts. And if you only start looking when you are already broke, you are walking into the opportunity too late. That is the uncomfortable part, because the first move happened before the poster, before the message, and before the application link. You expect campus money to come from experience, but brands sometimes choose the student who looks useful before the student who looks qualified. That feels unfair. A company does not always need the smartest student on campus. Sometimes it needs the students other students already see, already hear, and already walk past without thinking. That is why the person with less experience can still get noticed first. The gap is not always skill. Sometimes it is whether the brand can picture you moving people right now. One student can hand out flyers for 3 hours, post one story, and earn cash before someone else even gets reply from an online application. Picture this: one person is refreshing their inbox, waiting for "we will get back to you." Another person is near the cafeteria wearing a branded t-shirt, giving out samples and getting paid the same day. Same campus, same week, different results. And the scary part is that both students may think they are looking for income, but only one is visible before the need becomes public. Most students miss this because they think the opportunity is the job, but something else decides who gets picked first. And once you see that, campus stop looking like just lecture halls, queues, and walkways. It starts looking like a place where some students are already positioned before the rest even realize money is moving. But the next one gets even stranger, because the student does not need to be standing there anymore. The same money gap gets bigger when students realize that their messy lecture notes can travel further than their timetable. That sounds small until you imagine one page leaving your notebook and moving through a whole class without you being there. It is still something you created while trying to survive the lecture, but now that thing can move while you are in another class, on the bus, or at home. And suddenly the student who was just trying to keep up has something that can keep working after they stop writing. This is not about standing in public anymore, because one cleaned up file can keep moving while you are sitting in another class. You could be in accounting, walking to the library, or sitting in a taxi on the way home, but the same summary can still be passed around before test week. That is what makes this feel different. The student is not only trading time anymore. The file starts carrying value without needing them to be present. It does not need to smile, pitch, or stand near the cafeteria. It just needs to land in the group chat when everyone starts falling behind. Another student who fixes one economic summary after a Monday lecture can sell the same PDF to 20 classmates before test week. Not a full textbook, not a fancy course, just a useful study file, packaged properly, easy to follow, and ready when the class starts scrambling. One student sees rough notes. Another student sees a small asset that can move from phone to phone while they are already doing something else. If this is making sense, hit subscribe. I break down practical money systems like this every week. Most students fail because they only see notes as studying, but the next clue is hidden in who gets helped first. Because now the student is not just selling a file anymore. They are stepping into someone else's countdown. And once the countdown starts, the same ordinary task can suddenly feel completely different. That countdown is where the next side hustle starts to make sense. The mistake is thinking students get paid because they have free time, when someone gets paid because another student is about to look unready. Free time is casual. Looking unready is personal. A CV is not just a form. It is the first version of you that someone else judges. And when that version looks weak, the student does not feel late, they feel exposed. A CV is not valuable because it is a document, but because someone needs it before a bursary, internship, or weekend job deadline closes. The same CV that felt boring last week suddenly feels urgent tonight. But the real fear is not only missing the deadline. It is sending something that makes you look unserious before anyone even meets you. That is why a sharper CV can feel bigger than a page. One student can rewrite a weak CV in 45 minutes and earn money from a classmate who has been stuck for 3 days. That classmate is not paying for typing. They are paying because their first impression looks weak. They are paying because the application suddenly feels too important to submit badly. And in that moment, the student who can make the CV look ready becomes more useful than the friend who just say, I will check it later. Most students get filtered out because they offer help too generally. But the next layer is who looks risky before the deadline hits. But the next example is sharper because now the risk is not just how you look to an employer. Now the risk is how your work looks when someone important reads it. And once judgment enters the picture, the money starts moving in a different way. Then the pattern moves off the page completely because one student can get paid from one campus emergency that everyone feels, but almost no one prepares for. A dying phone does not feel like a small problem on campus. It feels like losing your timetable, your messages, banking up, your transport, and your way home. And suddenly, a simple charger start feeling more important than it should. You expect side hustles to start with a big scale, but sometimes the money starts with excess at the exact moment someone loses it. A student with a flat battery is not thinking about convenience anymore. They are thinking, how do I stay connected right now? The power bank looks boring until the phone hits 2%. One student can rent out a charged power bank near the library, cafeteria, or residence and earn small payment from classmates whose phones are about to die. Not a shop, not a big business, just 2 or 3 charged power banks, a simple return rule, a student who need battery before a lecture, test, lift request or payment. One student sees a low battery warning. Another student sees a small access problem that keeps coming back every day. Students miss this because they chase impressive ideas. But the next pattern is hidden in situations where people cannot afford to get wrong. Because once the need feels urgent, small access can suddenly matter more than skill. But the next one gets even bigger, because now it is not about a phone battery. It is where someone is going to live. But then the logic breaks because one housing connection can pay more than hours of visible campus work. One student works for hours, another makes one connection and earns from a successful moving. That does not look fair at first, and that is exactly why most students underestimate it, because from the outside, it looks like a referral. But inside the decision, it feels like safety. The effort can look smaller, yet the outcome jumps because the student is closer to a decision no one wants to regret. First year does not want to end up far from campus, unsafe, or stuck with the wrong roommate. A parent does not want to send money into a situation they cannot see properly. This is not just about rent. This is about whether someone's child will be safe, close enough, and not trapped in a bad setup. A student who connects one first-year student to a safe room near campus can earn a finder's fee from one successful move-in. Parent is worried. A student is desperate. A room is available, but nobody knows who to trust yet. The connection looks simple, but the family fear around that connection is not simple. That is why one safe link can become more valuable than hours of visible effort. A person who connects the right room with the right student is standing near a decision no one wants to regret. Most students misread the system because they judge the task, but the next pattern is hidden in what the task protects. And once you see that, these hustles stop looking separate. The brand promotion, the notes, the CV, the power bank or phone charging, and the room connection start pointing to the same direction. But that direction is still not obvious until you collapse them together. Then you realize they are not 5 separate hustles. That is the part most students miss. They look at the list and think, which one should I try? But the better question is, why these ordinary things became worth money at all? Because each one changed what someone else could do next. They only look different because one happens in public, one moves a file, one appears at a deadline, one cleans confusion, and one protects a movie. Different surfaces, different scenes, different people, but each one sits close to a moment where one missing piece is slowing someone down. In every case, the students who get paid is not doing random work. They are stepping into a blocker that someone else already feels but has not solved it yet. That is why the examples start to feel connected instead of random. The work looks simple from the outside, but from the person needing help, that small missing piece is suddenly the thing blocking the next move. Most students stay broke because they see random tasks, but the real pattern is hidden underneath all of them. And now the question becomes sharper. What makes someone comfortable choosing you? Because spotting the missing piece is one thing. Being trusted to handle it is something else. And the next example looks boring until you realize what it reveals. The deciding factor is not whether the hustle sounds cool, but whether someone can place you inside the moment that cannot go wrong. And exam invigilation looks boring from the outside, but inside that room, boring is the point. No hype, no big personality, no improvising, just a quiet room where one careless person can create a serious problem. Skills, effort, and availability matters less when the role depends on being reliable at one exact time. You can be talented and still not get picked, because when an exam starts at 9, the person in that room cannot be late, confused, or careless. They cannot disappear. They cannot bend the rules. They cannot turn a controlled room into chaos. This is not about being impressive. It's about being reliable enough to hold the process steady. An exam invigilator gets picked because they can show up on the right day, follow rules, and protect the process without creating problems. Students are writing, staff are watching, rules matter. The money is attached to a role where nothing dramatic is supposed to happen. That is why reliability matters more than the hustle sounding exciting. It is not dramatic, but it is dependable. Most students miss the agency here because the final question is what makes someone choose you before anything goes wrong. But the last example flips the room completely. Instead of sitting inside a controlled process, the student has to find people outside it. And that is where the full answer lands. That is why the student who can bring 30 hard-to-find people before deadline gets paid, while everyone else is still hoping for a job. This is the full answer. Student money does not only come from being hired. It comes from being the connector between someone with a clear gap and the people they cannot reach fast enough. That is the shift. Not waiting for a job title, not waiting for permission. Most students miss this because they wait for opportunities to be posted instead of noticing who already needs help reaching people. Researcher may not need another applicant. They may need the right student before the deadline closes. And if you already sit close to that group, you are closer to the opportunity than you think. Your class group, residence group, sports team, society, or WhatsApp cycle may be the missing bridge. If a researcher needs 30 participants this week, the student who recruits the right classmates get paid whilst everyone else keeps scrolling. Every example was pointing to this. Stop only asking, where is the job? Start asking, who has a clear gap I can connect this week? That one question changes what you see on campus. It turns random activities into possible income. Find one person on campus who urgently needs people. Then make one useful connection before the week ends. That is the action. One person, one need, one useful connection. If you want to actually start building income that grows beyond student side hustles, especially through property, WhatsApp Teach Me to the number on your screen and I'll send you the next breakdown. Be a legacy builder.